Welcome back for another video in our tutorial series for NeuroVisual Trainer. This video I'm actually really excited to share with you. This new feature that I'm going to demonstrate honestly has revolutionized our practice in a lot of ways. It's made training easier. It's made assigning activities easier. It's been something we've been asking the team to implement for some time, and it's been a lot of work for them to do it. And just really excited to share with you all how we utilize this newest update to the NeuroVisual Trainer software. So overall, what we're going to be going through are the ability to add activity sets and activity schedules. So what are those? I guess generally we might think of them as sets would be groups of activities that are kind of similarly linked that you often prescribe together. And schedules are creation of grids or, a sequence of weeks of activities that you can put together for your patients. A little bit more of a sort of set it and forget it type approach, which is very modifiable, but a really great way to ensure that at the start, certain groups of diagnoses are managed in similar ways. As I alluded to, in particular, if you have someone newer who's starting, it gives them the framework, which they can modify based on results. So I'll share my screen here and demonstrate exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So within the software here, the newest feature here is in an area called grids. So you're going to click on grids, which I already have up. And between these, there's the two different new features. The first, which we mentioned, was a set. Now, when would you use set? What sort of problems does this help to solve? Sets we view as we mentioned, groups of similar activities that you tend to prescribe as sort of a collection. So I'll give you an example. If we wanted to create, a Vergence level 1 set, which is, kind of going to be a combination of maybe a Brock string and some PFE, NFE work, what you can do is you can create this newest set and start adding the activities that fit within this group. So as you know, within the software, there's video exercises and there's interactive exercises. So we'll initially add the video exercise. So I mentioned we were going to add a Brock string, and you can add some special instructions if you want. You don't necessarily have to. We're going to save that to our set. Now, typically we like to do this by also combining some positive fusional Vergence, negative fusional via some of the RANDOT availability on the software. So we're going to add our interactive exercise here where we'll come down and add, say we want to do RANDOT base out. And let's say we generally like to do it at a minute. You can do some of these advanced setting changes based on your client base or the particular sequence that you're wanting to put together. And we're going to save that. And now we're going to, let's say we wanted to add some base in to complement that. Do that for another 2 minutes. And again, these are all modifiable within the set, and you've put it together. So you've got a sequence here. So you could do it for increasing difficulty. We've got a Vergence level 1, a level 2, a level 3. You could build sequences together that work for your client base. An area we like it for is for maintenance. A lot of times we give somewhat similar maintenance for categories of diagnoses. So you could create a maintenance for people who'd been through, a particular grid or had a particular diagnosis. And it becomes easy for the vision therapists because they can quickly just add the level of maintenance or the Vergence sequence that they're wanting the patient to go through. So we're going to save the set. This is the first set I've created. Now you'll get a list of these sets as you create more, but let's say that's the first one that you're going to use. From here, if you go into the client or the patient here, you can now assign them. You could either assign them manual, which is just one activity at a time, or you could assign them this set that you just created. And in our case, it was that Vergence level 1. Which was our set here. You could add special instructions. Maybe you wanted to modify a few things. You can enter that in here, which will show up for the patient, and you're going to save these exercises. So now that you save these exercises to this client, you're going to go into their file and you'll see they've been assigned all 3 of those activities. So you click it once and they've got the full set available to them. It just makes organizing and sending activities simpler, and in particular in the area of sending groups of activities. Now, if you did want to modify this particular set, this is one of the things we love. Let's say you've decided that you wanted to, Vergence level 1, I'd like to do some base in and out. I'd like to add a little bit more to that. I want to do some flexibility. So I'm going to add an interactive exercise. We'll come down, we're going to do some jump vergence, some base in and out. I want to add all of those. So we're updating our set. Now you can save that just for your, the categorized set, or you can save it and it will update all of the patients who are currently working on that set. So we're going to update it for all the patients who have Vergence level 1. We're now going to be adding that new level. Now you don't have to update it for all patients, but it's a great way if you're not sure who's doing Vergence level 1, but you've decided you want to up it a little bit or take it down a little bit. You don't have to go through each and every patient to change it. So these sets are a wonderful way to group similar activities that you tend to prescribe, together. So sets are a really nice addition. Schedules, to me, this is one of the revolutionary tools that have been added. Many vision therapy clinics, will have somewhat of a grid or a general approach to managing certain conditions. Of course, we all change and modify based on the presentation. But when someone's learning, or you have, you want to create a little bit of structure, it is very, very valuable to have a schedule or a grid available for training and for, getting the process started in a similar way. It also makes it easier if clients are working between different team members. So how does a schedule work? Really, really nice user interface here. You can see here with this schedule, what you're doing is initially it'll be defaulted to, a 5-week sequence, but you can add more, you can add 6, you can add 7, you can go up to whatever your particular grid length is. And let's say we want to call this our grid 1, and it's going to be a, basic visual skills. That's what our initial kind of grid is going to be. So you're going to be adding in your exercises that you use for basic visual skills. So if I, for example, wanted to start with, let's say we want to do, in a lot of programs, you're going to start with some peripheral awareness. So let's say we've got our peripheral awareness card. We want to put a video exercise for it. Again, you can have special instructions about it if you would like. You're going to save it, and it's going to add that to week 1. Let's say we want to add, what's another common one, I suppose, a near-far heart chart, something that you might be doing earlier with your cases. Again, special instructions. We're going to add that here. So we've got 2 video activities, and let's say that we also do an interactive activity with a lot of clients in their first block. You're going to add something I suppose that we would use pretty commonly at the start might be the central peripheral awareness game, which I've done a video on that the program has. Again, you can modify the customize, what level, how long you want them to do, whether you want them to be wearing anaglyph glasses, which we typically do. So you're going to save that. So you can add, of course, many more, but just for demonstration's sake, I'll have the 3. Now, what I love about this is central peripheral awareness card. Often you want to do that for a few weeks. So you can slide it over, and this will pre-program the grid so that the first 3 weeks, it's going to be assigning them this activity. And let's say I'd like to do the central peripheral awareness game for a similar length of time. You can drag it over to week 3. Near-far heart chart, let's say I only want to do that for 2 weeks. I'm going to slide that over. But in week 3, I want to add something, maybe a little bit more challenging as far as the heart chart is concerned. So we would go into our, maybe we're going to want to move into an anaglyph heart chart or something to that effect. You could have different ways that you want to do it. Heart chart level 1, level 2. You can pick what you want to go here. And now that is going to move into this week 3 block here. So you've set up a sequence of those first 3 weeks that is going to be auto-sent and auto-generated and updated for the patients that you assign it to. So to show you how that works, I'll save this schedule. We've got our new grid 1 that I've just created. Going back into our client base, if I did want to assign those activities, again, we can either assign these sets, which we showed before with divergence, but I actually want to do a schedule now. So the only grid I have available is this basic visual skills 1. So now they're going to be set for however long you set your schedule. We do a lot of programs in 15, 20 week blocks. So we might send them that first 20 weeks, and it's going to assign them in sequence based on when they're enrolled. Now you might think, you know what, I need to change it here and there for individual clients. Not a big deal. For this person, let's say I want to customize it and say, you know what, this is a little early to do the anaglyph heart chart. I actually don't want to do that till week 5. You'll go ahead and move that over. The rest remains the same, and you save it. So once you save this for the client or the patient, it's now going to auto assign these activities. This was week 1. So as you can see, these random special instructions that I have there, but it's now week 1 is going to have the activities that you wanted, the videos that you wanted. It's going to have the interactive exercises that you want. And then for the following week, it's going to automatically move to the next activities. Now, as I mentioned to you there, it's not that you can't modify it on the fly. It's very, very easy to modify it on the fly. But getting that initial sort of organization for us is, as I said at the start, it's revolutionary. One of the things that you find is sometimes at the end of the session, you'll assign a few interactive exercises, but you might forget to send a video, or you might forget to send certain things. This is going to ensure consistency of your vision therapy programs, and it's going to make it cleaner and easier for training. It's going to make it cleaner and easier for organization. And ultimately, if you have, a vision therapy team that is able to operate more efficiently, your patients and your clients are going to feel that. They're going to feel like this is a nice organized system. And if we do have to switch between team members, everything is running along a nice organized fashion. So this was a quick video, but as you can see, it's user-friendly. I was able to demonstrate a lot of the features in a handful of minutes. Feel free to play around with it, share any feedback that you have, but we've been blown away and extremely, extremely excited to utilize this update within our clinic.